Bunkie's on, right?
So we got.
All right, I'll let you do it. I'll let you do it.
You know, I'm all about.
I'm excited to meet a Bunkie. Okay, go ahead.
Me and Shawn are all about giving back, and so I'm from Bunkie, Louisiana, and my brother hit me up and let me know that there was a football team, 8U football team that advanced, and they're I guess one of the best teams in Louisiana, and they're coming to Vegas. So I said, okay, and my brother's like, signed off on the dude. He said he's a solid dude. He does what you do. He just can't. He got a scholarship, left home, went play professional, lived in Seattle, started giving back and developing youth in Seattle, and said, my hometown needs me more. Mm-hmm. And he went back home to do it. I said, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I love Louisiana. Yeah. I love it to death.
Yeah,
I can't go back home and help the way he has. And I take my hat off to the guy to be able to go back.
I know it wasn't you. I know it was our guest. Now he getting roasted.
To be able to go back and do that is big, man. And I take the hat off to the guy. So when they told him he was coming, I laid anything he needed. I told him I got him. And we hooked up the kids, look out the kid. But what he's doing is on a different stage, man. You know, it's something that me and you, we love to do. I know we do it here together in Vegas. We help the kids to give back, and it's just something that I think it's something I think someone did it for us at one time, and I think it's something we try to give back. So with that being said, we got my man Jamelle Juneau out of Bunkie, Louisiana.
Juneau?
Monique. Hey, what college you went to?
I went to McNeese State in Lake Charles.
Yeah. So, I mean, introduce yourself, man. We got Jamelle Juneau, man.
Oh, man. First of all, man, thank y'all for having me. Super cool that I'm getting the opportunity to kind of be on here and kick it with y'all, and to have somebody from Bunkie be a part of it is real dope. I mean, that's a real good. But I'm Jamelle Juneau, man. I'm just a dude from Bunkie that God blessed with some ability and some talent that allowed me to get out and go to college, get a scholarship, and kind of see the world play on some levels that kids from around here kind of dream of. And through that blessing and that skill set that I had, it's kind of led me on a journey to give back and pull some guys out of the same place that I'm from. As you know, Anthony, it's a place with very limited resources. Mm-hmm. And so be a resource, and I can be a platform to help elevate some kids. That's where I'm from, that grew up in the same streets that I grew up in, man. It's been I think it's my purpose. You know, God kind of put me in sports, and sports has led me to where my ultimate purpose was, and that's giving back and being able to help some of these kids achieve some of the dreams that they that may seem so far-fetched. So they just got to see somebody that's done it, and I'm just here to, like I said, be a platform to help elevate.
And Jamelle, you know, I mean, you're a blessing, bro. Like, to have you left from training NFL guys to go back home and train kids. You left Seattle, Washington to go back to Bunkie, Louisiana to train kids. Do you feel in your spirit God motivated you and felt like that's what you needed to be?
Absolutely, man. I started out doing some camp. It was always tugging at me. You know how, like they say, man, God got something for you. Sometimes you can ignore it for a little while, and then eventually it's just no more ignoring. So I would come back and do these camps in the summer. Me and some guys that I played with in high school, we would do these camps. And the camps were good, but it just wasn't enough. Yeah. And that it wasn't scratching the itch enough. And then ultimately I was like, my wife, who's from Washington, she was like, let's go down there. Like, I know it's your passion. And thank God for her, because she was the one who kind of led the way. She was like, let's go back. Yeah. Let's go back and you do what you do and go do it in your hometown. And so I have, and it's been good, man. It's taken off. It's been 2 years, but we've moved the needle quite a bit. Not enough yet, but we're moving the needle.
Mr. Juneau, what did you see growing up? Like, what gave you the understanding that you could leave Bunkie?
Well, honestly, man, I didn't know that I could originally. I mean, I grew up in the same. Anthony, tell you, man, I don't want to make it sound like the worst place in the world, because it ain't.
It's just little.
It's very limited. I mean, it's, you know, urban neighborhoods and stuff like that where it ain't a whole lot of resources. You talk about a town that's divided by a railroad track. There's 2 red lights, and there's a white side of town and a black side of town. And
to this day.
There's one. Yeah, to this day. I mean, that's kind of how it's recognized, the white side and the black side. And so for me growing up, there wasn't a whole lot of, I mean, I've seen a lot of athletes come through. I didn't know a whole lot of like doctors and lawyers and none of that. All I saw was like athletes, guys that always get to high school and be successful. And for some reason, at this point, I think everybody's a product of their environment, and the environment just wasn't one that was allowing athletes, as talented as they were, to get out. They just didn't have a structure. I was blessed that I lived in a 2-parent household where my mom and dad were together. So I was like one of the kids in the neighborhood with structure. And my dad was basically doing what I'm doing now, just maybe not on the same scale, but he was starting little sports leagues, trying to put AAU teams together. And my dad just didn't play college sports or get a chance to go play professionally. So there was a cap on how much he could expose us to.
Yeah.
And so the little bit of exposure he did get us to, it was enough exposure to kind of get us seen by some bigger AAU teams and get some older guys some opportunities to play AAU on some bigger stages. Yeah. And I was the young kid. So that door opened and I was able to wiggle my way into it and get recruited. And then from there, I just knew Bunkie was not the end all be all. And I knew that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted something bigger than that. Like I wanted something bigger and better. I needed to go see. And the little bit of ability that I had was like, all right, this is my ticket out. You know, you hear it all the time. Like, that's my ticket out the hood, you know, the ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, cliche as it sounds, it's true. Yeah. You know, and so when I realized that was my avenue, it's like, all right, man, I'm jumping on this thing. I'm waking up in the morning, I'm running to the park, I'm shooting, I'm getting in the gym anywhere and everywhere I can. And ultimately it led to, getting an opportunity, some options to go to college and play. And that education.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you off, but the education that you received at Bunkie, that was enough to get you into school. You didn't feel behind. You didn't feel like there were things that you didn't know. You felt like catching up when you got out there to the university.
I was always, that's a tough one to answer. When I got to college, high school was relatively easy for me. I was always a pretty sound academic kid, and only because I'd seen people before me, grades be the issue for so many athletes before me. So I knew, like, as a 6th and 7th grader, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna let that be my problem. Wow. But of course, man, being in like you said, with limited resources, that's not a lot of ACT prep. There's not a lot. There was not very few people even telling me about the ACT or what it took to qualify. Mm-hmm. I just knew from watching other people fail, and I learned the lessons of watching all these before me that failed because of grades. Yeah, I was like, that ain't gonna be the reason that I don't get out of here. Like, if I'm not talented enough, cool. It ain't gonna be because of the grades. And it was an adjustment for sure when I got to college, as far as the academic standard and stuff like that. Being in a small rural area, you don't always have the greatest. But I tell you this, the teachers and stuff that we did have, they poured into. They could see something in me early, and they poured into. They wouldn't have allowed me to kind of falter and stuff like that. So it set me up.
Hey, you went back home. You developed the Dream League. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called the Dream League.
Yeah, shout out everything you got going on right now.
Yeah. He went back and created the Dream. I think, is that the whole state of Louisiana?
Yeah. So no, basically what it is, man, is I was in, like I said, I was in Washington, and they had all these resources. Oh my God, I ain't even gonna get to talking about the resources they got. I thought I was in sports, youth sports heavy out there, man. All the resources they had, and so I soaked up as much of that game as I could and came back home. And I had a high school classmate of mine who she was working in the front office in the NFL, which is another crazy story for another day. But she's working in the front office, and she was able to plug me into the resources I needed in the NFL to like get right to it. And so we started this NFL league, and the guys came down. Guys from the NFL flew down from Chicago and like interviewed me and grilled me and drove through the parish. Like, man, you think you can do a league here? And I'm like, I think I can. And more than I can, like I will.
You will.
Give me the opportunity. Like I'm gonna get it popping. We're gonna do it. And so they did, man. They came down, they approved the league, and so we started the Dream League. And then everybody was like, what is this NFL flag, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just believe it. We're gonna do it. And so we ended up doing the Dream League, and that was the NFL flag league. We had 400 kids in it. In a parish of only 30,000 people live in this parish. We had 400 kids. And so from there, it was the Dream League NFL flag. We started this NFL flag football program, and then from there, NBA reached out, and so we have a junior NBA basketball league that we run. From there, we got an indoor sports training facility. It's called Mad Lab Sports, where we train people indoor facility. We've got, and from there morphed a travel version of the flag football, which is called APE, Balls Parish Elite. And so from 2 years ago, we started it, and nobody had ever really played flag football around here. And us coming to Vegas, it was kind of a surreal moment because we built the thing. We won a New Orleans Saints regional. Got a chance to qualify to go to Vegas, and then obviously we get to Vegas, and a guy from Bunkie is like showing us around Vegas, like showing us love in Vegas. And you know, instead of it being a field trip type thing, it's like, oh, these kids from Bunkie are going to Vegas, and I'm like, no, I've been on this flag football circuit. There's some talented kids in this parish. They just don't have.
Oh no, I think his phone died.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
so, Vegas gave us the platform, right? So Vegas, y'all can hear me still?
Yeah,
we got you.
We lost you for a second. We good.
Yeah, so Vegas basically was a platform for us on the national stage to just showcase what we've been building. We kind of been in the lab building it for 2 years, and nobody knew about us. And we got to Vegas, and it was an opportunity for those kids to like put our little small town on the map. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, they went out there and competed against teams from all over the country, and ended up finishing third. You know, beat the #1 team in the country on the way there. And it was such a cool feeling out there because it was, I don't know if you ever been to the NCAA tournament. I'm a huge college basketball fan, but I go to the NCAA tournament all the time. And when those underdogs, you know, the 16 seed start beating a 1 seed, or, you know, the 12 beating the 5, it's like everybody in the arena starts to gravitate towards that underdog. And that's kind of what happened in Vegas. We ended up being a 9 and we beat an 8. And then everybody's like, oh man, who are these guys? And then we beat the #1 seed, and it's like, whoa, these dudes, like, they might be for real. And, you know, we ended up, of course, the Cinderella story ended a little bit premature, but it was a good run, and it just gave me an opportunity to kind of look back on all we've been through and all of the long nights and weekends and me throwing.
He did it again.
We good.
Throwing kids in the back of our SUVs and driving all over the country and driving to Tampa, Florida, and doing all this crazy stuff. And it was like that moment was like, this is why we did it. We did it to give these kids this exposure that we're getting right now, and it's just super cool to see all of the hard work, and not just my hard work. Like, obviously, I tell people all the time, I'm going to be the guy because I kind of started the idea, and I'm the guy that's like the face of it. I'm going to get a lot of the love. But, man, I'd be remiss to say that this is all like Jamelle Juneau's doing. That ain't it at all, man. I got guys that's been rocking with me that do all of the dirty work. That's, you know, I got a marketing team. I got people that's game day staff that help set this stuff up, and sponsors that help finance it. And it's just been, when you're in a small town, like, everybody just kind of pitch in and help. And that's just kind of been the motto. Like, teamwork makes the dream work. That's the Dream League's motto. And that's what it's been. It's been people stepping up out of nowhere and just kind of, they've seen my passion for it and seen my work ethic, and they've gravitated towards, like, man, you know what? I respect that grind. I respect that hustle you got. And it's coming into fruition. So it's been dope, man. There's been a lot of people in this parish that said we couldn't, and they've seen the work, and I think now that they're starting to respect it a little bit more.
And that's why, and to everybody that's saying, what the hell is a parish? In Louisiana, we call,
I've said it 5 times.
I know.
I read it and said it.
We call counties parish. Okay, that's the only state that does that. But
right.
But yeah, no, what Jamelle's doing is incredible, man. You know, and what the kids played in the Shrine halftime game, they went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And do we got the pictures of the kids we can put up right now?
Oh, that was what you. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you know, what he's doing is incredible because, you know, man, from when Jamelle's from, you know, we got family members went down the wrong road in life. Some went down drug dealing, prison. Jamelle, you probably knows, but it's like so many kids you saving their life. Mm-hmm. And you know, I would say I was honored to do a couple things for the kids, but you did more than I've ever done, man. And yeah, appreciate it. You saving so many, you saved family lives. You changing the family's whole dynamic just from the little impact you're having on these kids, man. Mm-hmm. Like touching one person can touch thousands. Yeah. So man, thank you for that, man, because it's not a lot of people that does it. Yes. Thank you to your wife, your kids, the sacrifices you're making to go back. We're showing the kids right now, but it's just like, it's amazed me to see my small town on this stage. Like, that's crazy, man.
Right. Yeah, man, it's kind of surreal, you know, when you think about how small of a town we're talking about. And like I said, I don't oftentimes not even glorify, but I don't even give enough of a lens into what it's really like. Like you said, like, there's a lot of dudes I went to school with that's in jail, dead, been to some funerals, that kind of environment. And I talk to these kids about that all the time. And I'm glad that they don't know what I'm talking about. That means that the needle's moving. That means this environment that we in no longer like it used to be, which is a fortunate thing, which is the only reason we're doing what we're doing, right? Like it's to give these kids an opportunity in a different lens to see that, man, look, it's bigger than this, and you can get out of here. And if I can get out, you can get out. And if you can get out, then you can pull one more out. And that's my whole goal. Is like, if I can pull one, then that one can come back and pull two. Two can pull, and it's slow grind. It's, what I mean? And so it's an opportunity, and hopefully we pulling more than one, but we just going to keep on fighting the good fight, man, down here on the ground level. And I tell a lot of these politicians in this area, man, anytime I get a platform to start preaching, my kids will tell you, like, man, that dude will start preaching to you. I'm like, yeah, man, because I'm passionate about it. Like, it matters to me. They from where I'm from. I see myself in so many of them. And it's like, man, whatever I got to do, I got to sacrifice financially, my time, whatever it is, just to save one of these kids, man, is like, they that important. Like, you matter, and you that important. And I'm going to pour whatever I got into your cup, until your cup. If my cup runneth over, then it's my job to pour into yours. So that's just kind of how we doing. You
have said a lot, sir. Mr. Juneau, we definitely appreciate everything you're doing for the parish down there. I know this is what we all know, because we've all lived enough life to know that life is not just about sports. Those who come from sports, those of us who were professionals or collegiate athletes, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, there's always the component of, what are you doing for somebody else? What are you doing to better your life? What are you doing to better someone else's life? I know you, as a coach, as a mentor, as everything that you're doing down there in your parish, doesn't just stop once you guys leave the field. It doesn't stop once you leave the basketball court. I wanted to use this as our motivational message for the day. And I know that you've given everybody a whole lot. I just would like you to give us one more thing. What's one thing that you tell your kids? Maybe one of the things you tell them consistently to kind of help guide them. Give us some motivation that you give to your athletes.
Well, I'd say probably my biggest thing that I preach more than anything is, man, I always talk about deposits. We talk about withdrawals and deposits, and I'm constantly preaching to them that this life is about deposits. It's about pouring into somebody else. It's about constantly giving without expectation. Like, the withdrawals are gonna come, but those deposits, exactly. And that's all. These are small deposits, and eventually you'll be in a position where the withdrawals and the reward of it, they'll come plentiful, but you just got to continue to give to other people, without expectation, without an expectation of getting anything back. And I think that message in itself will help create better people, and, better people are better athletes and better, fathers and husbands and all of that different stuff like that. And I mean, even the component of the husband component, the father and husband component, and Anthony, he'll tell you that. It's just like, we live in an area where you don't see a lot of, and it ain't a racial thing, but the truth of the matter is, you don't see a lot of black fathers and husbands. Our kids don't get to see enough of it. And it's like giving them a glimpse into the family dynamic of, man, look, you can be a black guy with a family and a husband and do it the right way and pour into your community and do all of those things. And it's a representation of what we need more of. And so just continuing to make those deposits, man, into these kids' lives, or into the lives of I say kids, it can be adults as well. Everybody needs some pouring into. And that's kind of my biggest message that I preach nonstop, is like, continue to make deposits for the right reasons into the right places. And that's what we gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna do, as long as God continue to let my heart beat every morning.
Come on, man.
Wake me up. We gonna make deposits.
I'm a big fan of yours, Mr. Juneau. Never met you before. You ain't on TV every day. I'm a big fan of yours because of what you choose to do with your life, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing down there in Bunkie. Ain't gonna get me down there to Bunkie, man.
Yeah.
Next time you come up here,
I'll come down, man.
Make sure we cross paths next time you come up here.
No doubt, man. I'll be back. We'll be back, man. We'll link up.
Matter of fact,
God got us in this position for a reason.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna get Jamelle to a fight weekend with us.
I like it.
Whatever fight you want to go, let me know. I got you.
And I'm gonna come down there and kick it with y'all, man. I want to let y'all two know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I want to thank y'all, man. Like, I want to, Y'all got a platform and allowing me to put my platform on your platform is only a way to elevate even more, man. Y'all don't have to do that. Like, y'all got thousands of people y'all can bring on this show, man. I just like to make sure that people know that I'm eternally grateful.
Yes, sir.
For everything that we've been given. Because at the end of the day, you giving me this platform is going to help my kids.
I hope so.
That's what I'm about. I'm super grateful for anybody that's willing to take the time to give us an opportunity, man. I'm forever grateful for that.
Thank you for joining the PorterWay.
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. Stay blessed.